Hello everybody, it's Diorama Don here once more, and today's subject is a stone barn. I've made a barn in the past, a brick built one, but this is my first venture into making stone. I've not done it before. My first encounter trying to make a stone wall. So let's get into how I made it. Before that, please subscribe to the channel, press like and subscribe, and you'll be notified when new videos come along. So in the meantime, let's get into how I made it. So I decided what shape the front of the barn should be, and I like this Dutch barn kind of shape on the roof, and that will be the large double doors behind there. So that's the front of the building, like that. And then I've decided how deep it should be. There's no need really for it to be life-size deep depth, so just 5 inches is okay for modeling. So the back will be the same shape. That will be at the back like that. The roof I've made all in one piece, so determined the depth and how long from there to there, and then cut that accordingly, so that will just sit nicely over there when I'm ready for that. Okay, and the only other thing is it will be a wooden top, so this will be wooden slats at the top, and then brick, or stone on the two ends and the sides, so there won't be very much brick showing actually. So the next thing then is to make the wood effect on here. I've done it a few times now on a wooden barn and garage doors. That's where I've used the technique before. So I'll mark out the lines of the wood, and then gouge out the lines either side, sort of mark out with a sharp knife at an angle one side and then the other, so it gouges out a three-dimensional looking panel of wood. So I'll do that, and maybe if I show you, you'll understand more what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, so I'll need to do that on that area and the door. So I'll do those two things and come back and we'll go from there. So I assembled the building. I used a hot melt glue gun to fix it all together, and made the wood effect on the top there and the doors. I'll go over now with the watered down wall filler, ready for the stonework on the front and the sides. But in the meantime, although I've covered this I think in other videos, how I got the effect, the wood effect on the top there, just measure the planks of wood, not necessarily all the same width. So I've gone 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 3/8, all the way along there. So they're all different sized panels, and then cut these grooves out with the ruler just below there. That's better. The ruler just below the pencil line, and then cutting at an angle and following the ruler, then turn it around. I don't know which one I've just done now, and then do the same the other side. and then take that out, and that will give you the groove between the planks. And then every so often take out that kind of shape, which represents the wood expanding and revealing a great big hole, like that. Then chamfer that sharp edge in places, doesn't have to be accurate, like that. Then score very lightly with a sharp knife down there, which represents the grain of old wood, kind of like that. And then finally with a sharp screwdriver, just gouge out a bit more, just so that when I put my filler and then paint on, it still shows a rough surface underneath, and that will give the impression of old planks of wood. And for the rotted bits at the bottom, just take out a section at the bottom, chamfer that, again with a knife, just distress the bottom, and just go over with the, and that will give the impression of a rotted plank at the bottom of the door or wherever. So that's what I do. That's how I do that. So I'll put the coat of wool filler on, and come back, and we'll put the grout on the sides and the front, and mark out these stones. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I've painted the wooden slats at the front there. They need a bit of extra work on them yet, but we're getting there slowly. It's a case of dry brushing black and then white and then all kinds of different colors until they look right. It's not right yet, but we'll get there in the end, I think. So what I've done is mixed up some grey grout, just a little bit in a pot here, and I've added some PVA glue, so that's guaranteed to stick a lot better. So I'll put a bit on here. It occurred to me that I've never actually done this before. I've always done bricks or cobbled streets or what have you with grey grout, but I've never done actual stones. So I'll put quite a thick layer on here, and then I'll come back in about half an hour or so, maybe an hour, and I'll start to carve out the stones. I can only do one plane at a time, so I'll have to do these front parts, and then the left side, and then the right side. I don't think it'll allow me to turn the thing over. Can't see a thing. It's a good job I glance into the camera to see what you can see, otherwise you'd never see anything. Okay, so that's quite a thickish layer. Needs really to be a good 2 or 3 millimeters thick, so that when I carve into it, it'll give some depth to the stone. There we are. Maybe a bit more that side. So I'll wait a little while until that's ready, and then come back and carve into. Yeah, you didn't see. You didn't see me do that side. And back to this side, and back to this side. Okay, I'll leave it for an hour or so. Come back and I'll carve the stones. Okay, so my grout dried, and I started to engrave the shapes of the stone, and to be honest, it looked an absolute mess, and I didn't think that I was going to continue because it just looked so bad. So that's why I didn't do the part of the video showing you my actually marking out the stones. But it was obviously quite easy to do, but it made such a mess. There was bits and pieces and drying pieces of grout all over everywhere, and I didn't think that it would work out. But after about an hour or so, when it did dry and I just took all the debris away, it revealed that, and I was amazed. I thought, well, because I'd never done actual stone before, cobbled streets and brickwork, yeah, but I've never done stone. So it turned out very, very well, and it feels very stony. And I managed to do all 4 sections. So now that it's all dry and all looking pretty good, I've mixed some more grout, but a lighter colour. So now I'll put that in between my stones. This will be the well, lime-coloured mortar, which is what they used. I'll just do this section. I won't do any more. So no one was more surprised than me that it turned out reasonably well. I thought, anyway. Okay. So that's that on there, and then with the damp sponge, can take that off. And we've got a proper stone wall behind. When that's dry, then I can darken it with a black wash. But yeah, I think that's the best way to do stones. Absolutely. Because it's made of stone. There we go. So, stone barn. I'll do all 4 sections and allow that to dry. Then I'll come back and we'll put the top on, the roof on, and set it into a diorama. And then that will be it. So I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so we've finished our stone wall. I think that turned out pretty well. There may be 1 or 2 stones that I could highlight with a different colour, but in general, I think that's a pretty good, as good a stone wall as you would need. So for the roof, I thought we'd go corrugated sheeting. So what I do is I use this thin corrugated paper, really. It's not even card, just a corrugated effect paper. It's still quite substantial. It's still okay. Immaterial what colour it is, because I need to paint it this rust colour or burnt sienna. It's as good as close to rust colour as you can get. And then with a spray paint, in this case it's grey, I just give it a quick squib, that's all, nothing more. And that gives an maybe a bit more. That gives an impression of rust coming through a galvanized corrugated sheet. Can't get my words out. So, and with the reaction of this stuff onto this acrylic paint, it gives it a kind of crackle, oldie, rusty kind of look when it dries. So it looks very real, actually. So I've got 16 of those to do, and they will go all along there, 4 along each section there. So I'll carry on and do those, come back, and that will be almost finished. Okay, so finished the barn. Got my tin roof all done. That looks okay. And there we are, setting up a small diorama. Didn't need to be too big, just to set it off, that's all. Okay, there we are, one stone barn. Have a go yourself. It's the first time I've tried it, and after a couple of disappointments, it turned out reasonably well, I think. Quite happy with it. So there again, if you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe, and I'll be back shortly with a new video.